Namaste, good evening, everyone. So I'll just start from where we left off. Existence has manifested in all the four orders naturally, which has no human contribution. Humans could not evidence complementariness with the rest of nature. Instead, they have only been exploiting it. It begs the question, how can humanity hope to find happiness through exploitation? This is a matter worth pondering. Across nations, sects, religions, and even within families, the prevailing belief is that happiness can be attained through exploitation. Both the state and society uphold this belief, considering exploitation as the only means to human happiness. This mindset persists to this day. Even science aligns with this notion, asserting that human survival hinges on struggle and exploitation. Survival here refers to survival uh, of one's own kins. Struggle implies might to right. The prevailing belief suggests that development is synonymous with struggle. Yes, so this again is quite self-explanatory. Um, so we had actually left off at a very interesting point yesterday, and then it continues here that all that we have known is through begotten through struggle, and even in the religions it says here, even the religious things, the belief was that happiness comes from exploitation, survival, and all these kind of words are linked with um, happiness. So I think this is very straightforward and self-explanatory. I don't think we should need to be. A nation's development is often measured by its capacity to wage wars, engage in commerce, and exploit resources. Hmm. So yeah, I mean, we even see today whoever has the might is actually considered the one who has more weapons, or at least a one who has developed the latest sort of jets or engines which can carry the nuclear heads far and further away from their main starting point. So that's how we measure our mights. However, the truth is that development is attained by or attained only by a nation that has become awakened, one that embodies orderliness, resolution, prosperity, confidence, and understanding of coexistence. Okay, this is very, very interesting. Yes, Nilambavi.
Yeah, namaste to all.
Namaste. Yeah.
The previous the survival here. I feel these three sentences are very important today to be
Mm,
understood.
mm,
Survival here refers to survival of one's own kins, where
mm.
um, we are just having that individual approach to only see about ourselves.
Yeah,
Uh,
patriarchy or
our
something like that.
No, our family, only
Right.
our like survival of our own kins, I think means our own immediate family.
Right. Blood
So,
relatives, right.
yes, and then struggle implies might is right, means strength. Strength is in who is more powerful with wealth or who has more weapons. So
Mm,
that they have said that struggle implies might is right.
mm,
Now, the prevailing belief suggests
mm,
that development is synonymous with struggle.
mm,
Normally, in loosely, people say also that my journey has been full of struggle. I started with struggle and now I'm
mm,
successful.
mm,
So we also normally say that. So, basically we think when we are developed or we are I'm talking about a country, when the country is from third developing nation comes to the superpower. So that belief normally, which is the prevailing belief, which they
Mm,
say that previously it was struggle, and if you come to an human who is living
mm,
that journey,
mm,
they feel it's a struggle, and after struggle we have this success of wealth prosperity, which is
mm,
not actually the
mm.
correct
Right.
thing. So I just wanted to point out,
Mm.
so what is happening
Yeah.
basically, where we are wrong. Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Mm,
So far, what has happened is that it has been considered that struggle is essence for the survival. Na? जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस, ये this was the concept in our society till now, and it's continues. But here what we have learned is that development or awakening is when a person lives in orderliness, when the person is lives in resolution. We have understood a new philosophy of prosperity, confidence, understanding of coexistence. So
mm.
now, I think once we have learned all these things, now we feel very peaceful. No? Unless you are in struggle, you are in war, then you are troubling everyone, you are troubling yourself. But once you are resolved, once you live in orderliness, then I think this gives a solution to most of the problems which we have learned so far. Am I right, Bhaiya?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think I just want to add to this that what has actually brought us prosperity in any sense is actually technology, I would say, because with technology we have gotten health. With technology we have gotten better education. Be it the printing press. I mean, if imagine the printing press was not invented by some people who are struggling hard to copy something, then we would just have books which were written by hand, you know. So some technological part should be appreciated and must be seen in this light, that how much it has helped us. And indeed, with the information age that we are in right now, be it the electricity has helped to prevail the inventions of the computers, and then slowly that computers became home computers. Before, we had computers that were strictly for business, packed up in a
Hmm.
room which was air conditioned. So I'm
Hmm.
seeing how technology at every stage has played a very crucial part in the in indeed, if I may be bold enough to say, to play a crucial part in the awakening also of the human. Because at the ancient times, I recall that that the Bibles or whatever the books that were there, even they were just written by hand and they were just kept by the elite. But suddenly, with the technology, the printing press, the books could be printed in more numbers, translated and read by other philosophers even outside the country. People used to come here for the wealth of information, and so on and so forth. And we have reached to this place where we have definitely seen that our struggle has reached to a saturation. And as even Anand Bhaiya was saying yesterday, that we have the tools like AI and all this internet and all these kind of things to ask the questions to them, to look for the information, and we can get the information so readily also. It's just a matter of asking the right question today, and we are getting the answers, you know, so beautifully and so elegantly constructed by something which is not even tangible. I mean, the AI, artificial intelligence, you cannot touch it and say, okay, this is the part of AI that has responded. It is something which is like a cloud server, millions of cloud servers, and processing happens somewhere else, and information is broadcasted through the fiber optics and comes to your home. So unbelievable amount of technologies into it. And yeah, I just wanted
Uh,
to add that. Yeah.
yes, Bhaiya, you are absolutely right. Yesterday, I was talking to one friend of mine who
Mm.
lives in Japan, and he
Mm.
told me that there the people have very big land, and they are able to grow crops with the help of technology, and they
Mm.
are able to cover that.
Mm.
But here prosperity has a different meaning. Here
Mm.
prosperity means the understanding that we have more than the physical needs of our body. So
Mm.
that is the prosperity meaning here is. And secondly, as far as technology, AI, or everything is concerned,
Mm.
they have the good effects but they also have the bad effects also.
Yeah,
Huh?
yes.
There is a if they go in the wrong direction,
Ah,
like we have produced so many atom bombs that we can
ah,
destroy this earth multiple times.
mm,
So science has both the things. It has the
mm,
positive, it has negative. It depends
mm,
upon human being how
mm.
that person uses.
Right, right, right.
Secondly, I would say that my friend Sudarshan has also joined.
Okay.
I was talking to him. We are discussing on live this very book that is Jeevan Vidya,
Right.
where we are learning the coexistence. So I
Yeah.
welcome on behalf of all of you to
Yeah.
my friend Sudarshan.
Yeah. Maybe you can give a couple of lines from where he is and how we like what does he do or something. Would you like
Mm-hmm.
to? Sudarshan?
Sudarshan, would you like to speak?
Small introduction, just.
Okay, he may be busy or driving, I don't know.
Ah, okay.
So what I can say, he is my colleague.
Hmm.
Both of us were working in MTNL at
Okay.
the we were both at a senior management level.
Okay.
So we both took the VRS. So
Uh-huh.
presently, I also worked for 4 or 5 years after taking the retirement
Uh,
in various colleges and companies. But
right.
presently, I'm not working. So
Right.
Darshan ji is working with a computer company. So
Hmm.
he's a very good knowledgeable person as far as computer engineering is concerned. So he's
Hmm.
contributing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So we have technological minds also. I'm also a technical geek also myself, and I always keep on learning about new technologies myself because it's something that always intrigues me, and I always look at the positive side of it and how it can bring some sort of unity for the humanity also. So that's always my thought process of how it's possible. So even as Ganesh Bhaiya was, when you were saying the negatives of the technology, I was like, okay, so yeah, there is the negative side also. To me, it's like, ye bhi hai, such atom bombs and all these things. But I think they were actually initiated by, or I would say even almost uh, maybe planned by the governments. As in the scientists, I would not think that they would open their doors of their labs and then say, okay, today I'll create something to kill the other human beings. I think it is just almost a forceful action depicted onto these scientists by the government, unless that scientist has a personal agenda with some particular human beings or group of human beings, then maybe he would create something voluntarily which is harmful. But I really think it is just a pressure of the governments to, yeah, to indeed create something that is harmful. No person, I think, has the ability to voluntarily murder someone or some things, or at least create something that would murder so many people and then say, okay, I did a good thing, or live with themselves rather and then sleep at night also, for that matter. There is something
Hmm.
which is invokedly humane within us, even if we see that when we are looking at some movies where characters. So that is not possible if we don't have centering also, which has happened in the human like order. But yeah. So I believe Nilam Babi, you were asking a question, or you were just mentioning how we have jumped from this struggle to this mindset of what is actually supposed to be, right?
No, I was not asking a question. I thought
Mm.
this has to be first emphasized that where
Ah.
we are now for the audience who would be listening,
Mm.
uh, and then we can connect. So
Yeah.
that is, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, you're right. And we also engage in commerce and exploit resources. So the very reason of a lot of countries, like GDP growth, is directly linked with commerce, and that commerce is also again linked with exploitation. We have also heard of rumors, and I think they are true also, where we have waged fires in natural habitats just to clear up the land to create some sort of plantations or something like that, to create agriculture spaces for meat industry and all those kind of things. Are We have heard of that. And definitely, so we are not taking care of the orders as we actually are supposed to, as in we should be adding to the orderliness, rather we are actually doing the negative. So I was just listening to one of the reels, and once I just heard that this person could see the things, and in that sense, I was listening to it, and he was obviously he was maybe imagining it, I would say, but it would make sense that if we don't get the things right in this day and age, I'm talking after listening to that reel, if we don't get the things right in today's day and age, what will happen is we will see in front of our eyes the complete disintegration of all the three orders. And in fact, we are at the pedestal of being on top of the three. So like it's like a pyramid things, like where we have the material order, where we have the matter, the elements, the compounds, and then based on their intricate interwoven connectedness, then we have the plant order. We are also poisoning that. We are also creating genetically modified organisms and plants. And then on top of that, are surviving the animal kingdom, and that also we are hindering and exploiting, be it in the sea or in the oceans. Also we are exploiting the fish there, and so many, big nets we are putting in, tons and tons of marine life we are dragging towards the shore just for the sake of again, as we said, higher GDP, higher fish exports and all this kind of thing. It's called the blue revolution in Africa. I went there, and they have started this kind of thing. It's called the blue revolution, where people are exploiting the seas, because the tropical climatic area is so hospitable for this kind of animals and this kind of fish, that a person with money can just go there and get a couple of ships and nets, and they start just remove the ship, the fish from there, and then sell it. So yeah, and then on top of all these things are we as the humans. Now, if we are looking at this happening in front of our eyes and then we don't do anything about it, so what will happen is slowly but surely the whole thing starts becoming slippery, and suddenly we start collapsing onto these layers one by one. And as the layers are falling onto each other, it's like a cascading effect, and the topmost order, which is the human order, will definitely collapse the most amount. Like there's the most amount of distance that will collapse is the topmost order, because the layers below have been surviving for millions of years. And I'll prove it to you that no cows or no dogs had the corona. We only ones who had conjuncted the corona. No plants had conjuncted the corona, because these things have been evolving for millions and millions of more years than we have been evolving. So they definitely have this sort of resilience to these kind of things. But when we look at ourselves, we are the most fragile beings. Be it when we are nurtured, also we need a family system to survive. If an animal gets born into the wild, they start running from the next 5 minutes, but we cannot even walk or even feed ourselves if when we are very young. In fact, I read somewhere that the human baby is the only baby that is born immature every time, no matter if it's 9 months also, because we are not able to feed ourselves, we're not able to, take care of ourselves, and we rely on social well-being, social cohesiveness. Has to be a social structure, and all these things then play in the part of taking forward the human tradition. So it's very important that we get these things right. Look at this great sentences after that. The truth is that the development is attained only by a nation. That means, I mean, when he says nation, I'm saying it again, that whenever Babaji says something, he's saying it as the whole world. When the nation that has become awakened, like the whole world becomes awakened, one that embodies orderliness. When he says one that embodies, that means ourselves. It's talking about ourselves. When one that embodies orderliness. Okay, it says nation that has become awakened, one that embodies. Okay, so when he says nation here and he's saying one that embodies orderliness, the whole nation, the whole world has to embody orderliness, resolution, prosperity, which means basically more consuming more, consuming, producing more than you are consuming, right? And confidence. That's basically after you have attained you have realized yourself, and then you have developed yourself with the skills that you need. So now you're confident, right? And the understanding of coexistence. So the last part is the best nail on the coffin, like for example, if that is the right expression, that we have to realize coexistence. As I said, the three orders and the human order are all interlinked with each other, and they're coexisting with each other. uh, it's not because of survival of the fittest. It's because that they're existing with coexistence, that everything will be in continuum. If we don't see the coexistence, then the continuum will also stop. Planets, a whole planet will start disintegrating, because suddenly temperatures will start rising, suddenly animals will start disappearing. Yes, Bhaiya.
You have raised a very important point
Hmm.
that during Corona, it
Hmm.
was the human beings who were affected the most, not
Hmm.
the other animals. This is very
Hmm.
surprising.
Right.
On on one side, we say that the human beings are the most developed, and on
Evolved.
other side, we are finding it to be more fragile.
Yes. We are the most
So,
fragile.
uh,
Evolved in the sense of consciousness has developed, because it's like something that is the latest technology. It also has a lot to how do you say it? It has let it has to go through a lot of critic. Like if we say it in a sense, a lot of people started buying something, and then when they buy that thing, that thing gets a lot of repairs, and then you get to realize, okay, what do I need to fix, what do I need to fix. So evolution has been working on the plants and animals for so many millions of years, and it has come up with a construction which is called the human order, which is the grandest of its celebration, because everything has flowered out of celebration. The plant life had flowered because the matter was so conducive for the plant life to flower. No, otherwise, if you look at other planetary systems, there are acid rainfalls.
mm,
Literally, there are rainfalls full of poisons and all these kind of things. So no bacteria can survive that. But because of millions and millions of years of toxins going to the belly of the earth, and now the top layer of the earth being conducive, there are sweet waters. Now their rainfalls are also sweet. So that gave birth, or that allowed the bacteria to survive. Those bacteria became cyanobacteria. They captured the sunlight. Then those evolved to become plant life. Then plant lives came onto the land, and then they started to develop seeds. And with the seed parampara, this kept on going. And the same time, those bacteria which were in the sea, they developed into invertebrates, then vertebrates. Then it come to plants. Sorry, then those come to the land. So millions and I would say billions of years have gone through the evolution, and we are just maybe in the last, I think, uh, proto stage of becoming evolved. So we are evolved, but we are not evolution has not given us that title of being very how do you say it? We are not Superman and women. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
mm.
And
And yesterday we were discussing the number of Jeevan atoms, whether
mm,
they will be this will be decided by the coexistence and
mm,
not by the deluded human beings.
right.
So I did some research on that and
Okay.
come to this conclusion that
Mm,
if you see the animal kingdom and the human beings, they keep
mm.
on increasing.
Yeah.
They are not reducing, rather they are increasing. So now, if you think about the science says the number of Jeevan is equal to the number of the living things. है ना?
Right.
If there is a living thing, the consciousness is a byproduct of that living thing. But here we have learned something different. Consciousness is something different than the byproduct of the brain. So it is connected to the brain. So I have come to the conclusion that it can never be fixed. It will also keep on increasing. Had it been fixed, other
Mm,
the stage will reach, then there will not be number of jivans equal to the increase in the number of other things, that is humans and animals. That
mm,
is one thing. यानी
mm,
कि if I explain in हिंदी
mm,
कि जितने जीवन हैं,
mm,
जितने भी हम एनिमल्स देखते हैं या ह्यूमंस बीइंग देखते हैं,
mm.
वो बढ़ रहे हैं. दे आर नॉट रिड्यूसिंग, दे आर इंक्रीजिंग। तो
uh,
जीवन फिक्स नहीं हो सकते, नंबर वन।
हम्म, ये
दूसरा
लेकिन
डिसीज। हाँ जी
अगर
भैया।
इस
यस।
पॉइंट पर मैं इसलिए रोका आपको, अगर इफ वी से दैट देन वी कैन आल्सो आर्ग्यू दैट देयर सो मेनी एनिमल्स डाइंग राइट नाउ.
हम्म। हम्म।
So I think Babaji has said it, or either it was in one of these dialogues where it was concluded that these Jeevans are not getting the right body in the animal kingdom, hence they're coming as human beings, and hence we are seeing the heinous crimes and heinous activities in the human order also. I have heard that talk, but I don't know exactly who had said it.
नहीं, that may be true, that may be
Hmm.
true, but uh,
Hmm.
you see, one line is used in this sentence that deluded man cannot decide, है ना? Why
Hmm.
this line has been used? The reason being, if you see the pregnancies, all
Hmm.
pregnancies do not get mature. Some
Right.
of the pregnancies get, you can say, aborted
Miscarriage. Yeah.
automatically, है
Yeah.
ना? Miscarriages takes place,
Hmm.
which clearly indicates that coexistence will decide whether it will reach to that stage of uh, further
Hmm.
evolution or not, है ना?
Hmm.
So this coexistence is deciding. So
Right.
these two things I researched. I also requested Rakesh Gupta Bhaiya that
Hmm.
he should come, and moreover, I think we should not be worried about this particular thing and
Right.
have an, because this cannot, there cannot be an exactness that how
Hmm.
many Jeevans are there or not
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
this, I think we should not get disturbed on this thing,
Yeah.
but we should be very clear that number of Jeevans will be equal to or more than the existing things on this here in this world.
Hmm. Hmm.
हाँ? इससे
Yeah.
कम नहीं होंगे, जीवन विल बी either equal to or more than that.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, yesterday I think Shalini also mentioned this, that it's based on coexistence. How coexistence does that? It's its own niyati dharma से वो maintain रहता है. So I
Hmm.
think that's the best way. And talking about miscarriages, I would also like to argue that it's because of Niyati Vidhi again, that there's so much of more pollution, there's so much of lack of nutrients or micronutrients, there's so much of fast food, there's so much of malnourishment, in the sense that women are not getting the right nourishment, that we have to go to this kind of practices of artificial insemination, and then we have to go to the practice of test tube babies, and then we have to also even
Hmm.
go to the state of, even if it goes to that end, then still there is a miscarriage about to
Hmm.
happen. This I remember that it was not so often that this thing
Hmm.
was happening before, the way
Hmm.
I understood it. I might be
Hmm.
wrong. A lot of things have to play in it, but I think that a human becoming or giving birth to another human being is again a celebratory evidence, a
Hmm.
celebration of the human body, as in
Hmm.
physical forms. The physical
Hmm.
form has evolved enough to give birth to another body, and that is the proof that their child will survive. And
Hmm.
this can be concluded that their bodies is physically strong, their body is able to carry the baby, their body is able to carry the emotions, the trauma that goes through the man and woman during the pregnancy. So all these kind of things have to be looked at, and physiological changes, biological changes, all that is happening in the body are adhered and taken up, and how do I say it, bearable for the both of the parents, then only the child comes to the existence. So not entirely everything is dependent on coexistence, but definitely if we include that the coexistence is the part of everything including us, then yes, we as a knowledgeable person or knowledgeable order, we should be working on a world which is conducive to bring up other human beings. Right now, the mindset of even women, I would say, especially in the Western, they always fight for this right of abortion rights. There's something that is a very prevalent problem there. I'm calling it a problem because it's something that they carry it as a thing that they needed a right for that. They should have the ability to kill an developing fetus, and they are saying that it has to be their right because it's their body. But I would argue that this is the taking place because somehow, somewhere down the line, they are being developed in this kind of mindset that a woman who is pregnant has to sacrifice in their career, has to sacrifice in their relationship, or has to, get sort of trapped in that kind of environment. Why not we have a celebratory, unified orderliness, that when somebody is in a relationship, that man or that woman, both they stay together, and indeed they are, developing this child to come to this world so nicely. Why do they have to fight for the killing that fetus? Yes, Pia.
Hmm. The answer to this is the existence is doing its own part. Now,
Mm,
whatever you have told, the pollution and the decision by the human beings, that is the human intervention. है ना?
mm,
Human beings are intervening in the existence. They
right.
are not living, they are breaking the coexistence. Na?
Mm,
Like taking suicides or
yeah.
like the right to abortion, what you have said. है ना?
Mm,
Like
mm,
death, abortion due to pollution. These are
mm,
all due to human intervention. The existence has its own way of working, but
mm,
we are playing with the existence. Na?
mm,
Human beings is playing with the existence. It
mm,
has destroyed everything. It has destroyed the mind also. Mind is also corrupted now,
yeah.
and we are responsible for that. We have not created a conducive environment for our children.
Mm,
We are
mm,
also responsible, equally responsible. We are
yeah.
all in rat race. So
Mm,
all
mm.
not today again a techie has committed a suicide, and
Oh.
every day a techie is committing a suicide. So what is
Mm,
happening? Now,
mm,
the happening is simply that the this content of imagination is totally not correct. It is
mm,
based on the sensitivity, it is based on the tradition, it is based on the negative thinking. That
mm,
is why the things are happening which you have mentioned.
right.
So we are actually destroying the coexistence.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah.
So that was my my take.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, totally. Because as we keep on reading this kind of sentences, we look or we try to find the reason why, and the old it becomes is like a mirror. And I am reminded of those lyrics by Michael Jackson. I am starting with the man in the mirror. I am asking him to change his ways, because when we start pointing fingers outside, it's no pointing. There's no point to do that. We have to ask the man in the mirror, and we have to ask him to change his ways. So
Hmm.
one of these great lines sort of just popped up in my
Whereas the
head.
other three forms of the nature are in coexistence, the human being is not in coexistence. And
Mm,
that has destroyed the equilibrium. And that is why we are facing the problems which we are facing these days
right, right,
in
right.
today's world. So once the human will be awakened, once the human will be living in the orderliness, I think all this problem will be resolved.
Mm, mm,
Yes, of course, this will take a lot of time because we have reached to a stage where we have
mm,
corrupted everything.
mm.
Now,
I mean,
others can also participate. Shriyanshi, Shivangi, you can put your views.
yeah,
Don't remain silent. It should
yeah.
not be like Bhaiya and me are speaking only. We are also novice. We are also learners. But these are the
Maybe they're
issues.
waiting for us to get quiet और थक जाते हैं फिर बाद में बात
Okay,
करते हैं.
okay,
Is
okay.
that the case? They're still quiet. Yeah. So I will just wait at one point. Maybe they can just unmute afterwards. So basically, I think ever since the mankind has come to this technological world, and where we are looking at ourselves as the most evolved species, there is also a corrupt mind, or a group of corrupt minds that actually make the masses feel less or lesser. And I would actually
देखो
argue
फिर
that
से आर्टिकल सा हो गया ये
I Shreyanshi, you
थोड़ा
want to
सा
say
गल जाती
something?
है ना हिंदी फिर से हो जाती
Okay, she unmuted by mistake, maybe. So I think the majority of the humans have been brainwashed to thinking that they can only achieve by maybe buying a house, by maybe getting a job, and then getting into this kind of thing that we need to have products. So the whole cycle starts and ends with the self not being aware. So once that parampara is developed, I don't think that any other market forces or anything outside will be actually hampering our development. Right now, as it said that we thought that development is often measured in the capacity of waging wars, engaging in commerce, and exploiting resources. This is what we thought till now, and it's still the mindset of the masses. However, the truth is that development is attained only by a nation that has become awakened, one that, how is that measured? One that embodies orderliness. Basically, orderliness is by identifying all the three orders: the material order, the plant order, and the animal order, and the human order finally, which is supposedly is the only one which is in disorder actually with the other three orders. And resolution is basically with harmony with the other orders, and with justice with human beings. So that's basically resolution. Prosperity is when we are thinking of the body and this jivan as separately, and thus when we are producing more than we can consume. This sentence is very important. We should not be like producing so much. Like there's also organic farmers I know of, that there are acres and acres, thousands of acres that they have in Africa, and they're producing organic produce, and they are sort of saying that we are living prosperously. No, that is not the right way of prosperity. Prosperity is when you have identified the jivan and uh, the physical body as separate, and then now you're producing just a little bit more than what you need to consume or what is needed by your family cluster, and that is called prosperity. And then confidence is when you are skilled in more than one. Or Babaji, I think, do we have Shalini with us? I think he said that a child who was maybe age of 14, I think he should be having some 20 or 30 skills. I'm just getting these figures off head, but that's the amount of skills that a child should have, or an adolescent should have. And this they will have the confidence of always being in the present, not worrying about the future. So that's basically the confidence. And understanding of coexistence, basically that we are all part and parcel of the whole existence, and we should not just stoop to the nature of our things, our family, our prosperity, but rather letting the other orders live, and hence you will also be living in coexistence. Yes. Shalini, do you know how many skills that one needs to know? I mean, at the age of young age, matlab?
Yeah, somewhere Babaji was saying that nearly 20 to 23 skills must be there in every human child by the age of 20 or something like
Okay,
that.
right. So that's in itself a very big task, because those 23 skills means that obviously it's in Kalamulya, and it's in
Actually,
uh,
actually, it is not.
hmm,
It's not a big thing.
hmm,
We are imagining it because with along with this kind of education and this kind of, yeah, it's 40 skills. Yes, it's more than that. So having 40, 50 skills is not a big deal actually. When you live in a in a setup that Babaji has
yeah.
shared.
Yeah, that's definitely so. I mean, the environment is very conducive to the amount of wisdom that one can get, definitely, and that's can
And
be also.
what are some of those skills?
Cooking is one, for example.
Okay, okay.
For example, even this
We can do it.
cooking, cleaning,
All in the
weaving
yes.
and knitting and
Hmm.
making like pickling and
Okay.
all these things. We can do a lot of them. We ourselves have 20 to 23 skills. No big deal. We
Mhm.
have lost
So,
some of them. For example,
hmm.
making the Janak knows carpentry. Janak knows a lot of things. Janak, you also have at least 10 to 12 skill like plumbing. All these things are skills. You know?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful. So, yes, yeah, Didi, we can make at least few of these skills and we can tell to our children. We can
Yeah.
also start doing those skills and tell to our children that they should start learning those skills.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
See,
Mm.
actually, a child by default, by the age of 3 to 4, you see, all kids want to peel the peas, like they मटर छीलने बैठ ही जाते हैं. धनिया तोड़ने
Hmm.
बैठ जाते हैं ना, तो the kids are like that. We
They want to
have
be
learned a lot.
handymen also with
Yeah.
helping with their fathers with a hammer. I've seen some of those reels also. They wear the helmet and then they're helping the father with the hammer and all these things. So the kids
Yes.
are definitely proactive.
Hmm.
Neelam Bhabi wanted to say something.
यस भैया, नहीं जस्ट स्किल्स की बात निकली तो आई फेल्ट it also should be taken in that purpose that it is for the coexistence, because
Uh,
skills तो आज बहुत जनों के पास रहती है, बहुत सारी skills, but
yes,
उसका
very
purpose
important.
basically
Mm, mm,
so I think very rightly Shalini Bhabi said that the kid would at a very small age would like to do lot of things seeing his parents. So
mm,
basically तो उसमें मेन ये होना है कि वो पेरेंट समझदार हो, तो फिर ये फिर परंपरा उस हिसाब से वो स्किल्स की बात कर रहे हैं when it's
mm,
in the tradition of a resolved man.
mm.
उस
Right.
तरह स्किल्स की बात करें तो वो भी एक
Hmm.
बात पर मुझे मेंशन करना था बस,
बढ़िया
क्योंकि
बढ़िया.
स्किल्स है ना, फिर वो व्हाट हैपेंस इज पीपल से स्किल्स तो हमारे पास भी है ही वी
Yeah.
आर डूइंग दैट, बट द थिंग
Uh,
इज या
Somebody might be
बेसिकली
having skills of I don't know what is a wrong skill, but yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
For
Yeah.
example, making a bomb is a wrong skill.
Huh. Huh.
And many are learning in the tradition. I've seen in some of the societies that they teach their children how to make a that bottle bomb and how to make these things, so that if there is a quarrel among various facts, then they are ready to throw that bomb. They are ready to make that bomb immediately. So very right thing. This is a wrong skill. So we must be very much aware the purpose of the skill also.
Hmm.
अखंड समाज सार्वभौम व्यवस्था के अगेंस्ट में कोई भी स्किल है तो उसको स्किल ही नहीं काउंट करेंगे.
Hmm.
Yeah. Right. Right. I think one more thing I would like to add is that if a child is early given the environment and early resolved, I believe a lot of unnecessarily pains would be avoided. I think that is the right way of putting, because we always think of the green stick, right? You can bend a green stick; it changes its direction. But once the same plant or the same tree grows bigger and it has a very huge trunk, then it's very hard to divert its direction. And then we have a lot of problems that we are seeing today, where countries leaders are being bullied into being pushed to wars or not to have wars, and we are seeing that they are using so many geopolitical various things like money and resources and distribution of the resources, and then creating more wars. So much of unnecessary things. I mean, imagine all the leaders, they were just fed in this head of theirs at the young age that violence is wrong. Violence is not supposed to be the right way of getting anything resolved. I think the whole world would have a different picture than it is right now, that okay, yes, if he's not giving the money, we will give the money. You come to us, you give your resources to us. That's what's happening right now. So it's actually a shame that these leaders are actually this thinking like this, and it's almost just unbearable almost, that this is just the way we kind of have to take what they are taking, what they are complicit doing it, and what they are making the decision of, and we have to take it at face value, and nothing that the ordinary man can do actually. But yeah, I believe that if they were kids and if they had resolved uh, with some things in their minds, if they had respect for orderliness, if they were understanding the orders, definitely I don't think that there would be this position that we are in, the perilous situation that we are in. Yes. Anand Bhai is also with us. Maybe he wants to add something.
I'll listen for now.
Okay. बढ़िया.
Yeah, Hemang wants to tell something. He has been listening with us, so he's a
Okay.
silent
हाँ,
uh,
sure.
person. Yeah, so he wanted to share.
हाँ.
What I found that uh, we were doing massage and we were teaching the
Hmm.
things
Hmm.
and at our clinic, and then what happened that people learn it and they
Hmm.
just go away. See, basically,
Hmm.
again the environment was not uh, so such that they want to be in harmony, or they want to be in the family JV system or like that.
Hmm.
That was not the concept altogether. But
Hmm.
eventually, then we have to have that part of conversation along with providing skill
Hmm.
basically to everyone,
Hmm.
that yeah, there is a skill set, but
Hmm.
there is also a part to think over about the value system, or the JV part basically.
Hmm.
uh, yeah, that was
So,
one of the thing.
hmm.
And uh, skill, I mean, uh, okay, you can continue if
I just
I.
want to clarify, Bhaiya,
Skill,
you are saying that people used to steal your ideas, is it? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, still our
Okay.
idea, they used to mean there were varieties of things happening.
Hmm.
So once they learn the thing, they
Hmm.
leave the job like that.
Acha, okay, you are talking about employees. Okay, I thought you were talking about clients. Right.
No,
Okay, got it.
no one actually steals any idea or concept. It is basically, I feel, people now in today's tradition, what is happening is they don't connect you,
Gratitude.
or they don't understand what is coexistence. They are
Hmm.
in that because we have also employed, or we have also taught some people so कि
Hmm.
उनका skill कुछ बढ़े, but they have come with a thought
A different
that
agenda.
I will
Yeah.
do it individually, my practice,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I will just exploit these people.
Yeah.
So that kind of a mindset he's talking about. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, I think this can be actually discussed because what we are talking about here is expectations not being met, and that is a very crucial point that we will all be having to face actually. And either we are in that stage of Daya Kripa Karuna where we are able to take this kind of repercussions, and we are able to not being affected by them, or we have to be careful what we are imparting the knowledge to, or who are yes, Shalini.
हाँ, ये बहुत बढ़िया बात बोली, भैया ने भी बोला उसको।
Hmm.
बेसिकली जो स्किल है ना, वो मूल्य निर्वाह के लिए है ना। सेवा,
Hmm.
से वस्तु और सेवा का अर्पण समर्पण है परिवार मूलक स्वराज्य व्यवस्था में, या
Hmm.
अस्तित्व सहज व्यवस्था में, जिसको हम कह रहे हैं ना। तो
Hmm.
ये स्किल जो है वहां पर डिफाइन भी होता है और वहां पर उससे तृप्ति भी होती है। अभी
Hmm.
क्या है, ये स्किल जो है ना, मतलब एक स्किल का ही पार्ट है केवल, शरीर के साथ वाला, इसमें लक्ष्य वाला पार्ट जुड़ा नहीं हुआ है। तो
Hmm.
लक्ष्य वाला पार्ट नहीं जुड़ा होने से, या व्यवस्था सम्मत व्यवस्था नहीं होने से, तो फिर अतृप्ति आ जाती है ना। इस जो व्यवस्था है ना, या ये जो अव्यवस्था है, यहाँ पर
Hmm.
अतृप्ति बनी रहेगी, है ना। वहां
Hmm.
पर जो स्किल है वो मूल्य निर्वाह के लिए है ना।
Hmm.
तो जैसे मसाज एक स्किल है, लेकिन वहां पर फिर परिवार मूलक स्वराज्य व्यवस्था में इसको हम अपने बड़ों की सेवा के लिए या बच्चों की सेवा के अर्थ में इसका
Hmm.
इस्तेमाल होता है, उससे तृप्ति होती है ना।
Right.
तो
Right.
व्यवस्था
Be-
साथ साथ चलेगी, वो ये हर एक चीज जो है ना व्यवस्था में ही डिफाइन हो पाएगी, उसी से
Hmm.
तृप्ति होगी, है ना।
Right. Right. Because I just want to add to that, because until and unless that other person who is learning is not resolved in their mind, they will always want to fill the gap with materialistic equivalence, which is not possible, that the Jeevan can get trupti, or can get a
भाई,
what's the
अभी
right word?
अभी क्या है ना, स्किल जो है वो पैसा कमाने का जरिया है,
Hmm. वही
वहां
वही.
पर जो स्किल है वो मूल्य निर्वाह का जरिया है ना,
Hmm.
अंतर हो जाता है।
Hmm. So according to him, he thinks that okay, if and they can even see that we are charging them this much, so they suddenly feel that they can also charge that much, and then they start using the arithmetic and priyahit labh things, and they can obviously not go beyond that because they don't have the knowledge or wisdom. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be always going to be a backfiring actually, where we are teaching something to the materialistic mindset, and all we get is sort of very hatash or nirash ho jayenge hum log. We are not doing it with the, or rather they are not recognizing those other mulyas, which is justice and truth.
Basically, I feel, Bhaiya, what Babaji must, he told about, like, ye age mein, like, he has
Mm.
given the references of age and what that in that age a child or an adolescent should know.
Mm.
So that must be in that tradition. He is given a way that by age of 25, a
Mm.
person is has understood, and he is already living, and he
Right.
is able to that happens only if a resolved tradition is established. So
Mm.
when we are in this transition period, we have to think how we can work on that. So
Mm.
of course, if new parents are there, we can work on that levels.
Mm.
Then
Yeah.
how, because till the age of 5 or 7 years, as
Mm.
science says, uh, but if we go to see, I may be wrong, but Madhyas Darshan ke hisab se, I feel Jeevan has that capabilities, it has that inexhaustible powers and strengths, right? But
Mm.
as science says that till 5 or 7 years, a child has been able to perceive things very sharply, and it stays with the memory. That's
Mm.
what they say.
Mm.
And I've also seen, like, when that same person is in his old age,
Mm.
they we say normally, वो एक बच्चे जैसे हो जाते हैं, they become like a child. So
Mm.
whatever in that age till 7 years has happened, a
Mm.
lot of people have those memories very much instilled.
Right.
That I'm saying research. I don't know how Babaji takes that. That
Mm.
has to be discussed. But
Mm.
how he takes.
कभी
Mm.
भी साइंस से कंपेयर करके अगर करना हो तो आई कैन हेल्प यू गाइस अंडरस्टैंड।
Mm.
देखो,
Yes, please.
जीवन को बाबा जी जिस तरह से बता रहे हैं ना, वो संस्कार अनुसंगी है। दैट इज वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग्स व्हेन वी से मानव, मानव संस्कार अनुसंगी है। व्हाट ही लर्न्स कम्स फ्रॉम द कल्चर एंड ही लर्न्स बाय ऑब्जर्वेशन, बाय सीइंग थिंग्स अराउंड हिम। ये जो अपना एक, वी हैव टू ब्रेक दिस ब्लॉक इन आवरसेल्व्स दैट स्कूल इज द प्लेस वेयर लर्निंग हैपेंस या कॉलेज इज द प्लेस वेयर लर्निंग हैपेंस। ऐसा नहीं है। लर्निंग इज अ कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस फॉर द जीवन, एंड इन अ ह्यूमन बीइंग वो इंफॉर्मेशन जैसे भी आता रहता है थ्रू द बॉडी, दैट इज ऑल लर्निंग। तो
Mm.
लर्निंग से जो उसकी स्मृति में बनता है, दैट इज वेयर द स्टोरिंग ऑफ द मेमोरीज हैपेंस। that smriti is has to be reality। वो जब इनकम्प्लीट रियलिटी या पार्शियल रियलिटी वहां जाती है, तो जो जीवन क्रिया की स्टडी करते हैं ना बुद्धि में वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं होता है। साक्षात्कार तक यू हैव टू कंटिन्यूअसली कीप सीइंग थिंग्स फ्रॉम मेनी मेनी एंगल्स टू गेट द एग्जैक्ट पिक्चर। और अपन ह्यूमन चाइल्ड ग्रोथ से अगर बात करेंगे, तो चाइल्ड का जो ग्रोथ होता है, जितना ब्रेन या जो पुराना स्टोर्ड स्मृतियां जो है ना पिछले शरीर यात्रा की, वो एज एन एक्सेप्शन कभी कभी किसी किसी बच्चे में दिखती है, बट अदरवाइज जनरली वी आर born with a clean slate। we
Mm.
imbibe things in the generation from the culture। तो जो कलेक्टिव क्लाउड कल्चर जो बन रहा है ना, दैट इज द परंपरा। और
Mm.
we keep uploading information to the parampara and we keep downloading the new babies, they keep downloading। तो ये जो क्लाउड स्टोरेज का एक जैसे समझ लेंगे, उस
Mm.
हिसाब से अलग अलग सोसाइटीज, अलग अलग कल्चर्स, अलग अलग पार्ट्स ऑफ डिफरेंट एथनिक ग्रुप्स, डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ, ये चीजें होती रहती है। और बहुत बार अपन लोगों ने जो सुबह की क्लास में डिस्कस किया ना, राम गेंद खेल सीता पानी ला, ये
Mm.
जो बहुत छोटे फर्स्ट क्लास में जब सिखाया जाता है ना बच्चों को,
हम्म,
तो एक सेक्सुअल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन शुरू हो जाता है वहीं से।
हम्म,
तो ये बहुत सटली चीजें दिमाग में बैठती जाती हैं।
right,
वी डोंट इवन नो कि हम लोगों ने कितने सारे चीजों को ग्रहण कर लिया,
हम्म,
है ना। माँ खाना बनाती हुई देखते हैं,
हम्म,
बच्चे देखते हैं कि खाना अच्छा लगता है, तो छोटे बच्चों को
हम्म,
खाना सर्व करने में पार्टिसिपेट करना रहता है, खाना बनाने में ना घर घर खेलते हैं बच्चे।
हम्म,
तो आप देखो कि बच्चे जब घर घर खेलते हैं तो कोई टीचर बनता है, कोई माँ बनती है, कोई पापा बनता है, वैसे बनता है, तो दे मिमिक ऑल दोज एक्टिविटीज। अपन इसको ऑब्जर्व करेंगे बहुत क्लियरली तो अपने को समझ में आता है कि बच्चों का सीखना होता कैसा है। अब एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग सीखना हो रहा है और एज ए जीवन सीखना हो रहा है, ये दोनों को अपने को बहुत अच्छे से, थैंक्स टू साइंस, थैंक्स टू मध्यस्थ दर्शन, वी आर एबल टू इजीली प्लेस एवरीथिंग। कहीं कोई कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन या कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है उसमें। एवरीथिंग इज सिस्टमेटिकली अलाइंड।
भैया व्हाट इज मेंट बाय क्लीन स्लेट? क्लीन स्लेट का मतलब कोई बच्चा जैसे नया जन्म ले रहा है तो उसकी कॉन्शियसनेस में कुछ भी नहीं है
उसकी
पिछला।
स्मृति में कुछ भी नहीं रहता है।
दैट मीन्स
प्रवृत्ति
वट
में
एवर
रहता है,
वट एवर।
प्रवृत्ति में रहता है, हाँ, प्रवृत्ति रहती है उसकी।
हम्म,
उसको अगर खाद पानी मिलता है तो वो ब्लॉसम होता है,
हम्म,
खाद पानी नहीं मिलता है तो वो प्रवृत्ति एकदम डोरमेंट पड़ी रहती है। जैसे सत्य ही जाएगा, बुद्धि और आत्मा दो जो जीवन क्रियाएं हैं, वहां सिर्फ सत्य ही जाएगा, भ्रम वहां जाएगा नहीं।
हम्म। एक अच्छा पॉइंट रेज किया आपने आनंद भैया कि इफ अ पर्सन हु इज reincarnating as a human, they will have all their like, how do I say it? The forest is cleared by a fire of some sort, and the seeds that remain on the floor, based on the nurturing of that family or of that tradition that he or she is born in, then that kind of trees or plants will grow in that
हाँ,
area now.
वो दो क्रिया में ना उसमें, अगर अपन ग्रॉस सीड की बात करेंगे ना,
Hmm.
श्वसन क्रिया जिस सीड में हो रही है, वो अगर सही वातावरण मिला तो अंकुरित होगा।
Hmm.
निष्प्राण जो सीड हो गई है
Hmm.
वो अंकुरित नहीं होगा।
Hmm.
व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ सीड्स, जो
Right.
जड़ चीज है।
Hmm. Yeah. भैया, your voice is not coming.
नहीं मतलब सीड्स
हाँ,
का मैंने एक्सप्लेन कर दिया।
हाँ,
सीड्स में वो जड़ चीज है, चैतन्य
right.
चीज में इट्स लिटिल डिफरेंट।
हाँ, I'm just trying to give it an
हाँ,
exemplar, but
बट
yes.
बोले तो ऐसे ही होता है, मतलब वो जो
Hmm.
दिस इज दी ऑल दीज थिंग्स हेल्प अस अंडरस्टैंड दैट कि जड़ से चैतन्य में विकास हुआ है।
Hmm.
पठन पूर्णता जो विकास क्रम होते होते विकास जो होना होता है,
Hmm.
तो विकास क्रम विकास को अपन समझते हैं।
Hmm. Yeah.
जैसे पूरे जड़ प्रकृति में क्या होता है, जब भी केमिकल रिएक्शन कुछ भी होगा,
Hmm.
तो जो एक्सचेंज ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होगा जो आउटर मोस्ट रिंग से ही होगा,
Right.
है ना। तो
Hmm.
और वैसे ही चैतन्य इकाई में भी ये देखते हैं कि मन का शरीर से कनेक्शन होता है।
Hmm. Right.
मन का वृत्ति से भी जो कनेक्शन होता है वो
Hmm.
चैतन्य में ही समझ में आता है, वो जड़ प्रकृति में नहीं समझ में आता है।
Hmm.
वो मात्रात्मक खाली चलता है उनका।
Hmm.
तो सेकंड डिग्री थर्ड डिग्री तक जो ये जो ट्रांसमिशन होता है भ्रमित अवस्था में भी,
Hmm.
वो इनके बीच में देर आर इंटरेक्शंस बिटवीन वृत्ति एंड चित्त, चित्त एंड वृत्ति, वृत्ति एंड मन एंड शरीर। ये इतनी क्रियाएं होती रहती है।
Hmm.
और इनकी कैपेबिलिटी में जो इमेजिनेशन पावर है, जो कल्पना शक्ति है,
Hmm.
उसको यथार्थता का दर्शन करना, जो कुछ जैसा है वैसा दर्शन करना, वो ब्रह्म मुक्ति हो गया। वो
Hmm.
साक्षात्कार मतलब प्रतीति होगी, कंप्लीट होगी। तो जो प्रवृत्ति रहती है उनकी, जो क्लीन स्लेट में जाते हैं ना, वो प्रवृत्ति के साथ जाते हैं,
Hmm.
एंड दैट इज ऑल डॉर्मेंट।
Right.
गणेश भैया कुछ आप और ऐड कीजिए इसमें, तो अपन एक दूसरे को ऐड करते जाएंगे तो वो पूरा पिक्चर बन जाता है।
नहीं भैया, ठीक कह रहे हैं आप। बस मैं यही समझना चाह रहा था कि व्हेन वी आर वर्किंग ऑन द कॉन्शियसनेस, तो
हम्म
इसका मतलब फाइनली हम प्रवृत्ति को ही ठीक कर रहे हैं, और इन द
हम्म
नेक्स्ट बर्थ इट विल बी द
हम्म
प्रवृत्ति, है ना, जो इफेक्ट
हाँ
करेगी। तो
हाँ,
बट व्हेन वी लर्न अबाउट री इनकारनेशन, कुछ लोगों को
हम्म
अपना सब पुराना पता होता है, उनके बिहेवियर में भी
एक्सेप्शन,
वो दिख रहा होता है।
एक्सेप्शंस होते हैं, एक्सेप्शंस होते हैं भैया। उनको कोई लैंग्वेज आता है जो
हम्म
उन्होंने सुना ही नहीं है इस जन्म में, है ना। कुछ रिलेशनशिप याद होती है, कुछ नाम बता देते हैं कि मेरी इससे शादी हुई थी, ये मेरा हस्बैंड है या ये मेरी वाइफ है।
हम्म।
ये एक्सेप्शंस होते हैं, उनके भी
हम्म,
नियम है, वो हमको पता नहीं है, बट ये क्लियर रहना चाहिए अपने मन में कि वो नियम से है,
ठीक।
रैंडम कुछ भी नहीं है।
हम्म।
हम्म
Yeah, it can also be argued that I have heard of extreme cases where they have had a sudden accident or where they have had a very sudden sort of experience where they were killed by their relatives, so they can
हम्म,
remember
हम्म,
the one who killed them. तो ऐसा कुछ तभी एक्सेप्शंस
हाँ,
आपने कहा ना, वही होता है, एक्सेप्शंस ही होते हैं.
पास्ट नहीं, पास्ट लाइफ मेमोरीज की तो अभी साइंस बहुत हो रही है। अभी इंडिया में तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक प्रोफेशन
हम्म
है ना।
हाँ.
इसको इसको बोलते हैं, इसको थेरेपी भी बोलते हैं।
राइट.
अच्छे कुछ अच्छे अच्छे वीडियोस है। मतलब देयर वाज वन लेडी जिसको फ्लाइट से बहुत डर लगता था, वो प्लेन में बैठने से बहुत डरती थी, तो उसको शी वेंट इनटू पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन।
हम्म.
तो शी वेंट इनटू द ट्रांस एंड देन उसको वो जो भी गाइडेड लेके गए वहां पे। तो
हम्म.
शी वाज ऑन द फ्लाइट दैट क्रैश्ड इन स्विट्जरलैंड।
हाँ.
उसको वो
हम्म
फ्लाइट नंबर दिखा, उसको वो
हम्म
टिकट कोड दिखा, एंड शी वाज अ मेल आर्मी ऑफिसर इन दैट बर्थ।
हाँ.
ये
हम्म
सब फिर बोलते हैं कि वो देन दैट फियर गॉट रिमूव्ड फ्रॉम हर। मतलब उसको ये क्लैरिटी जब हो गई ना
हम्म.
कि दिस, एंड देन व्हेन शी वाज बैक इन दिस बर्थ देन शी वाज रिड ऑफ दैट फियर। तो
हम्म.
उसका भी अपना एक उपयोग है।
या. हम्म. बढ़िया.
कॉन्स्टलेशंस, पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशंस, देखिए अब मैं वो बोल रहा हूँ ना, थैंक्स टू इंटरनेट
हम्म.
किसी भी चीज के बारे में आपको जानकारी जितनी आपकी जिज्ञासा है उतनी
हम्म.
आपको मिलती है।
हम्म.
अब उसको जब प्रयोजन से जोड़ते हैं कि भाई मेरे को अभी अब जीना है, मेरे को अभी मेरे को सार्थक रूप में जीने के लिए हाउ डज दिस हेल्प मी,
हम्म. राइट.
जागृत परंपरा बनाना है, यूनिवर्सल रेजोल्यूशन लाना है।
हम्म.
एक के रेजोल्यूशन से कुछ होना नहीं है। ये
हम्म.
मानसिकता जब बन जाती है ना,
हम्म.
तो फिर वो प्रयोजन दिखता है अपने को भी, हम क्या करें, हमारी
हम्म.
टाइम को कहाँ यूज करें,
हम्म.
हाउ डू वी लिव इन अ वे सो दैट वी क्रिएट द ट्रेडिशन ऑफ
Yeah.
हम्म
And
that is
यूनिवर्सल
the
रेजोल्यूशन।
fundamental requirement. The tradition should be created, and
हाँ
many
हाँ,
of our
यूनिवर्सल
problems are
रेजोल्यूशन।
many of our problems are because of the wrong traditions. So
हाँ, और ये क्रम है, मतलब जागृति क्रम में ऐसा होना ही था। मतलब ये भी कोई बहुत गलत हो गया ऐसा नहीं है।
हम्म.
हम्म
वो ना उससे जो विरोध रहता है ना, उससे भी मुक्त होना है अपने को
हम्म.
कि अरे पता नहीं दुनिया में तो इतना खराब है, ये ऐसा है, ये ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है, वो वैसा क्यों कर रहा है।
हम्म.
मतलब विरोध, तो विरोध से कहीं आगे बढ़ ही नहीं पाएंगे ना अपन। एंड आई हैव गॉन थ्रू ऑल दिस, मतलब ये सब हुआ ही है, मेरे साथ भी ऐसे ही हुआ है, और सभी के साथ ऐसा ही चलता है। जितने जल्दी वो मुक्त हो जाते हैं उतना वो, जैसे शालिनी दी ने बहुत बढ़िया बात कल कही थी, जो अपने बैगेज को लेके चलते हैं ना,
हम्म.
वो ज्यादा लंबा सफर नहीं कर पाते हैं।
हम्म. हम्म.
जितना बैगेज है उसको क्लियर करो, हर बैगेज के पॉइंट को सह अस्तित्व की रोशनी में देखो,
बहुत
hmm.
बढ़िया.
And
अनुभव की रोशनी में।
ultimately what you are saying is, don't sweat the small things, and it's all small stuff.
बहुत.
Wonderful. बढ़िया बढ़िया.
देखो
ओके.
को एग्जिस्टेंस भी तो यही ना, फॉर्मलेस और फॉर्म दोनों का को एग्जिस्टेंस है।
हम्म.
हम्म
ना फॉर्मलेस से फॉर्म बना, ना फॉर्म से फॉर्मलेस बना, दोनों हमेशा सदैव साथ साथ थे।
हम्म.
हम्म
बढ़िया. ओके.
तो वो
द
जो बिटिया बात कर रही थी ब्रेन और बच्चे के वजह में, वहां से अपन यहाँ आ गए। तो
हाँ.
लेट्स मेक श्योर उसको क्लियर हुआ क्या कि भाई बच्चे में जो मॉडर्न एजुकेशन या जो ये लोग जो भी साइकेट्रिस्ट या फिर अभी आजकल बहुत बच्चों को बहुत इंटरेस्ट है आजकल इस चीज पे, बहुत लोग इंटरेस्ट लेके समझते हैं।
हम्म.
तो ये लर्निंग का पूरा प्रोसेस समझना बहुत अच्छा है, बच्चे
हम्म.
में कैसे नॉलेज ट्रांसफर कैसे होता है, हाउ द किड्स अंडरस्टैंड, ब्रेन में क्या होता है, वो कैसे समझते हैं, एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ.
Yeah. I just want to add one more line that when the brain is being developed, it's at the infant stage. I think it's the neurons that are actually being multiplying. So it's like literally brain size is small because of the child's physical nature, and a lot of neurons. Yeah, nerve cells are being developed and multiplying at the stage. And I think the peak comes at around, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 17 or 18, maybe even younger than that. And then at the age of 30 or after 40, they start declining. So the number of nerve cells in your brain are getting lesser and lesser, and that's how the sort of forgetfulness starts happening and all those things. So now new generation of nerve cells are happening, but they're more dying at that point of time or after the age of 40 or 40, 50.
तो
So
थोड़ा
then
सा
we.
और रिसर्च कर लेंगे, इसमें तो मिल जाएगा.
Hmm.
इलास्टिसिटी, ब्रेन इज ना इलास्टिक थिंग है वो.
Hmm. Hmm.
इफ यू आर हैविंग द प्रॉपर एक्सरसाइजिंग ऑफ द ब्रेन, मतलब
हाँ
वो बेसिकली, तो इवन एट 100 यू आर अलर्ट.
हाँ, ये तो सब चीज़ें तो है. यस, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द जनरल दिस ट्रेंड
हाँ,
दैट इज
तो
देयर राइट नाउ.
वही है ना, तो इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ द ब्रेन जैसे समझ में आएगा, उसमें कौन सी एक्सरसाइजेस करनी है अपने को, हाउ टू कीप अलर्ट, ऑब्जर्वेशन. द होल थिंग इज अबाउट बीइंग अवेयर कि भी आपके जो ना जीवन की क्रियाएं जो है वो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स भेजती है ब्रेन को. अब आप कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी सिग्नल्स भेजते रहोगे, वो ब्रेन चक्रगनी जैसे घूमता रहेगा, तो टायर्ड होगा ही होगा.
वेरी ट्रू.
आपके पास अक्षय शक्ति, अक्षय बल है, बट ब्रेन के पास तो अक्षय शक्ति, अक्षय बल नहीं है, क्योंकि वो तो
लिमिटेड
फिजिकल है.
फिजिकली, फिजिकल लिमिट, राइट. बहुत
तो
बढ़िया.
वो फिर अगर आप ऐसा कर दोगे तो बेचारा वो ब्रेन थोड़े दिन में वो जैसे करप्ट होता है वैसे करप्ट हो जाएगा.
हैंग हो जाएगा. सही है.
हैंग हो जाएगा, करप्ट. ये बहुत सिंपली बहुत सारी चीजें में हेल्प करती है टू गेट अ पिक्चर. सॉफ्टवेयर और हार्डवेयर दोनों को अगर अपन ले लेते हैं, तो सॉफ्टवेयर कहीं दिखता कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन वो सॉफ्टवेयर रहता है.
एटलीस्ट
अपना
विद
इंस्ट्रूमेंट.
एटलीस्ट विद द कंप्यूटर्स, वो लोग नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी से अभी एक लाइट प्रोसेसर आया है जो उसमें प्रकाश से चलता है, उसके अंदर जो ट्रांजिस्टर्स है उसको हटा करके लाइट से. तो बट विद द लिमिटेशन विद द ह्यूमन
बेसिकली
इज नॉट पॉसिबल.
बेसिकली ये है कि देखो, अब आपके पास एक हैंडसेट है, अब उसमें अगर ओएस नहीं डाला है तो वो हैंडसेट तो है, लेकिन वो कुछ काम का नहीं है.
या.
ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का कुछ अपन को फोन में, मतलब वो आइकॉन दिखता है कि एक ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम है, वो कुछ जगह लेता है, कुछ स्पेस लेता है, कुछ स्टोर करता है. और अब अपन सटल चीज की बात कर रहे हैं जो कुछ जगह लेता ही नहीं है, लेकिन वो है और एनर्जी वहां से आ रही है. तो ये बहुत बढ़िया है, एकदम एकदम ऐसा लट्टू जलता है कि यार फिर अब करना क्या है, तो भी करना यही है कि ऐसी परंपरा बनाना, सर्वतोमुखी समाधान के लिए क्या करना है वो करो.
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. We would like to continue this talk, but again, time is at
नहीं
our.
नहीं नहीं, अपन करते हैं ना वो. श्योर
हाँ,
श्योर, आई एम सॉरी. हाँ.
बहुत बढ़िया. नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. It was a great talk, and as always, we have great enlightening thoughts coming in every time, and it's again with coexistence also. So, बहुत
Bhaiya,
बढ़िया.
before you stop, we all wish very good luck to Anand Bhaiya's daughter, whose birthday is
Right.
today.
Yeah.
So what we
Congratulations.
can do is that let's have some smileys to
हाँ.
celebrate that.
हाँ, हाँ,
So with
बहुत
lots
बढ़िया.
of good wishes to her.
हाँ,
थैंक यू,
Many,
थैंक
many
यू,
congratulations, Bhaiya. Many
थैंक
congratulations.
यू, थैंक यू.
बढ़िया. चलिए, तो with that we end our session today, and we hope to meet tomorrow again, same time. Hope you have all a good night. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू, थैंक यू.
Thank
सॉरी यार,
Very good
thank
कट
night.
गया.
you.
Very
कोई
good
बात
night.
नहीं. Thank you. Thank you.